The emergency beacon cut through the void of space like a knife through silk, its desperate signal reaching across star systems with the urgency of a dying breath. Ambassador Thylix of the Zenithari Confederation clutched the communication device, with trembling appendages, her crystalline carapace reflecting the red warning lights that bathed the bridge of her dying vessel. "Mayday, mayday," she transmitted on all frequencies, her melodic voice crackling with static. "This is the diplomatic vessel Harmony's Edge. We are under attack by Vectari raiders. Our shields are failing, our weapons are depleted. We carry the peace accords between 7 systems. If we fall, the war will consume everything. Please, anyone who receives this transmission, we need help." The Vectari were merciless, a species of biomechanical predators who viewed diplomacy as weakness and peace as an opportunity for conquest. Their ships, grotesque fusions of living tissue and dark metal, surrounded the Zenithari vessel like vultures circling carrion, acid cannons discharged in brilliant green arcs, eating through the hull plating with each successive hit. Thylix closed her compound eyes, preparing for the inevitable. The peace treaty she carried represented 5 years of negotiations, the hopes of billions of beings across multiple worlds. Now it would die with her in the cold vacuum of space. Then something impossible happened. "Zenithari vessel, this is Captain Sarah Chen of the Terran ship Indomitable. We've received your distress call. Hang tight, cavalry's coming." Thylix's eyes snapped open. Terrans, humans. She had heard whispers of this species in the Outer Rim territories, rumors spoken in hushed tones in diplomatic circles. They were said to be newcomers to the galactic stage, barely 3 centuries since achieving faster-than-light travel. Most civilized species dismissed them as primitive, violent, and irrelevant. The Vectari had made the same mistake. The first sign of the human arrival wasn't visual. It was the sudden, coordinated destruction of 3 Vectari vessels in a synchronized light show of plasma fire. The remaining raiders spun their ships toward this new threat, their organic hulls pulsing with aggressive bioluminescence. What they saw defied comprehension. The human fleet was small, only 7 ships compared to the original 20 Vectari raiders. But these weren't the sleek, artistic vessels favored by most spacefaring civilizations. These were weapons, pure, uncompromising instruments of war that looked like they had been forged in the heart of a star and tempered in the crucible of violence. The lead ship, Indomitable, bristled with weapon systems that seemed to violate several galactic treaties. On excessive firepower, its hull bore scars from countless battles, and its design philosophy could be summed up in a single principle: if you can see it, you can kill it. "Attention, Vectari vessels," Captain Chen's voice cut across all communications frequencies, calm, as discussing the weather. "You have 30 seconds to withdraw from this system before we demonstrate why humans are considered the apex predators of known space. This is your only warning." The largest Vectari vessel, a bioship the size of a small moon, pulsed with contemptuous laughter. Its captain's response was to fire every weapon at the human fleet simultaneously. The human's response was swift and surgical. What followed wasn't a battle. It was an education. The human ships moved with a coordination that suggested either perfect communication or a shared consciousness. They fought with a ferocity that made the Vectari, themselves considered the galaxy's most violent species, look like children playing with toys. The humans didn't just have superior technology, they had something far more dangerous. They had experience. Centuries of warfare had bred a species that approached combat with the efficiency of engineers and the creativity of artists. They understood violence not as an art form, but as a science. One human destroyer, the Retribution, punched through the center of the Vectari formation while spinning on its axis, its weapons creating a perfect sphere of destruction around itself. Another ship, Necessity, seemed to phase in and out of existence, appearing behind enemy vessels long enough to deliver devastating strikes before vanishing again. But it was the Indomitable that truly demonstrated human capability. Captain Chen brought her ship through the enemy fleet like a surgeon's scalpel, each shot precisely calculated to disable rather than destroy. She was sending a message, We could kill you all, but we choose mercy. Within minutes, the Vectari fleet was either dead or fleeing. The bioships that remained leaked fluids into space as they limped away, their living hulls traumatized by weapons they couldn't comprehend. The human fleet regrouped around the damaged Xenothari vessel. Captain Chen's image appeared on Thylex's communication screen, a woman with graying hair and eyes that had seen too much violence, yet somehow retained their compassion. "Ambassador, are you all right? My medical team is standing by if you need assistance." Thylex found her voice after a long moment. "Captain, I must ask, your species, are you some kind of advanced warriors? Your technology, your coordination? How long have you been preparing for war?" Chen's laugh was tired but genuine. "Ambassador, we're not warriors. We're explorers, diplomats, scientists, artists, farmers. We're everything and anything we need to be. The thing is, when you spend your entire evolutionary history as both predator and prey on a world that's constantly trying to kill you, you learn that sometimes the best way to ensure peace," she paused, her eyes hardening with the weight of necessity, "is to be very, very good at war." As the human ships escorted the Harmony's Edge to safety, Thylex realized that the galaxy's understanding of humanity would need to be completely rewritten. These weren't primitive newcomers to be dismissed or underestimated. They were the beings you called when everything else failed. When diplomacy crumbled and hope seemed lost, you sent a desperate signal into the void and prayed that the most dangerous beings in the galaxy would choose to be your salvation instead of your destruction. And sometimes, if you were very lucky, they answered the call.